Today, I bought a ripe and fresh pineapple to make sweet and sour pork with pineapple. First, I'll cut the pineapple into chunks. I've made this dish before using a deep-fried method, and I already have a recipe for that version. But today, I'm making a slight change by adjusting the way I cut the meat and using a pan-searing method instead of deep frying, making it a bit healthier. The best cut for sweet and sour pork is pork collar, also known as char siu meat, because it has evenly distributed fat, which enhances the texture. Now I'm taking out the pre-cut meat from the fridge and slicing it into pieces about 1 centimeter thick. This cut has natural grain patterns, so we should slice against the grain to keep the meat tender. After cutting it into 1 centimeter thick slices, I'll make a diagonal cut, just like this. When slicing meat, it's best to do it when it has partially thawed but is not completely defrosted after being taken out of the fridge. At this stage, the meat is easier to cut and the slices come out neater. If some parts are too thick and difficult to cut evenly, you can gently pound them with the back of a knife to flatten them. Place the sliced meat into a bowl and add the marinade. All the ingredients will be shown on the screen. I added a small amount of sugar to give the meat a slight caramelized aroma when pan-seared. If you prefer a lighter color, you can skip the sugar. Then, mix and massage the meat for about a minute to help it absorb the marinade, and let it sit for 30 minutes. When making this dish, remember to prepare all the ingredients beforehand so that the cooking process goes smoothly. These are the ingredients I've prepped, but you can adjust the vegetables based on your preference. If you don't have pineapple, you can substitute it with mango. Now let's prepare the sauce, the soul of this dish, which is extremely important. The key ingredient here is ketchup, and I'm using an organic version that's less sweet and slightly more tangy. If you're using regular ketchup, make sure to halve the amount of sugar in my recipe to avoid making the dish too sweet. Additionally, I'm using 2 types of vinegar to enhance the flavor. If you don't have both, you can simply use white vinegar as a substitute, and it will still work well. Now, let's prepare the thickening slurry. Keep this separate from the sauce, so that you can adjust the amount later based on the consistency of the dish when stir-frying. Now, back to the marinated meat. It has been sitting for 30 minutes. After marination, add cornstarch and mix well to ensure each piece is evenly coated. It should remain in a dry state. Now, all the ingredients are ready. Now, let's start cooking. First, choose the right type of pan. I recommend using a carbon steel, stainless steel, or cast iron pan. I do not recommend a non-stick pan because this dish requires high heat, which may not be ideal for non-stick surfaces. If you're using a metal pan without a coating, first heat the pan until it's very hot. Then, turn off the heat for 10 seconds to let it cool slightly before adding the oil. Pour in just enough oil to cover the bottom of the pan, not too much. After adding the oil, turn the heat back on and let it heat up for about 10 to 20 seconds. Test the oil temperature. Drop a piece of meat into the oil. If bubbles form around it, the temperature is right. If there's no reaction, the oil is not hot enough yet, so wait a bit longer. Key points for pan-searing the meat. 1. Ensure a crispy texture. Place the meat 1 piece at a time to prevent them from sticking together. 2. Avoid overcrowding the pan. It's best to cook in 2 batches to ensure each piece gets even heat and turns out crispy. As long as the meat can be flipped, flip it. If it doesn't release from the pan yet, just leave it for a bit longer. The meat won't stick to the pan, but you need to keep flipping it frequently. Since the marinade contains sugar, it can burn easily, but we actually want that caramelized aroma. Controlling the heat is also important. As long as you don't see excessive smoke, keep the heat at medium. If the heat is too low, the meat will start releasing moisture instead of getting a nice sear, which can affect the texture. Pan fry the meat until it reaches this crispy, slightly dry texture, then remove it from the pan. Since each piece cooks at a different rate, you'll need to take them out one by one as they reach the right doneness. Because of the sugar in the marinade, the meat may develop a slightly dark caramelized color, which is completely normal. By the time you start frying the second batch, you'll notice that there's more oil in the pan. At this stage, you can stir fry the meat a bit, creating a texture similar to shallow frying. Remove the crispy pieces first, and let the less crispy ones continue cooking until they're all perfectly crisp. Now, pour out the excess oil from the pan. Here's something I don't recommend doing. Ideally, you should wash the pan to remove any residue. Leaving burnt bits is not only unhealthy, but also makes the dish look less appealing. Next, I'll use the residual heat from the pan to sauté the ginger slices until fragrant. Then, add the onions and carrots. The onions serve both as a side ingredient and a decorative element in this dish, so don't overcook them. They shouldn't become too soft, or they won't look as good. Just sauté until they release their aroma. Finally, add the green bell peppers. None of the vegetables should be overcooked. Keeping them slightly crisp will give the dish a better texture. Stir fry the vegetables until just cooked. Then add the pineapple and prepared sauce. Toss everything together. Then add the pan-seared meat and stir fry again. Finally, thicken the sauce with the slurry. All right, that's it for today's recipe. See you next time.